All right, there's the handshake. Going for flips. On the crab size, we have a City of Lies. Oh, that is a +1. I did make that mistake last game. Keeper Initiate, Bayushi Liar, and a Bayushi Manipulator. The S side, we have a Shrewd Yusuke, Borderlands Defender, Fable Ground, and Keeper Initiate. And it is to Alex for first buys. He's going to hit the Borderland Defender. 2 extra fate, 3 extra fate. Leaves him with 1 fate. Steve plays the Bayushi Liar with 1. And then Alex passes. Bayushi Manipulator coming out. Leaves Steve with 4 total fate.
Well, this will be interesting to see what happens here. I'm assuming a 5-5 bid. Looks like. All right.
5 increases to 6. Goes down 1 honor on Steve's side. Triggering Bayushi Manipulator to go up to 6 there. Alexander passes pre-conflict. Steve goes ahead and has him lose 1 honor. Alexander saying there that he should have bid 1. Would have put him down on a lot of cards, but would have put him way up on honor. But would he have been able to overcome that card deficit is the real question. And the general consensus is probably not. Steve going in for a conflict. Bayushi Manipulator going the Void Ring at the favorable ground. Hits a Manicured Garden. Alexander defends with the Bayushi Manipulator. 3-1. Or sorry, with the Borderlands Defender.
Much better than the last game. Meditations on the Tau was such a good farmable province, whereas Manicured is less farmable because you're giving your opponent an advantage of fate economy.
Certainly still not one of the worst provinces to hit, but giving a free fate every turn. Here's a Watch Commander, goes on to Alexander, his Borderlands Defender.
Now we do know that Palumbo now is on Fate Worse Than Death, so that's something you have to watch out for.
He does have 4 fate. The Borderlands Defender wouldn't bow if they go home, though.
And then he has the favorable ground to come back in, so it's not the play now, but it is something he'll have to make sure to keep measured throughout the...
Does Fate Worse Than Death blank before it, I can't remember the ordering on it.
I think the blank is the last bit of the text, but let's take a look.
All right. Just going to pass. Looks like there was a mountain, does not fall there to leave the Borderlands Defender standing. Passing through.
So it is the last bit of text there.
Alexander, they all pass through. No more conflicts. They're going to go right into the fate phase. And Alexander gets the favored. There really is no point for Steve attacking there. I mean, if he feels like he could overcome and maybe get a ring effect out of it, but then the Borderlands Defender doesn't bow, still has does not fall on it, and then comes back in for an attack. And Alexander chooses just to pass and gain the favor rather than trying to push for a potential break or hitting a bad province at a wrong time. He does go up on fate. Pitching the Keeper Initiate. And here we go for the flips. On the Scorpion side, we gotta have another Liar, a Loyal Challenger, and a Hidden Moon Dojo. And then over on the crab, we have a Shrewd Yasuki, Tenkinja, and Mia Satoshi. Another Liar comes out with Fate. Shrewd Yasuki follows right behind. Imagine Steve passes there. He always has the option of playing that challenger with Hidden Moon Dojo. Not an ideal placement on that Hidden Moon Dojo, but he still can play that challenger at any time he wants to. Looks like we had 1-1, maybe 2-1. I believe Steve lost 1 honor.
Definitely a fight on in his hand.
Steve's going to come in for an attack here. Going to go in air at the Manicured Garden.
Try to get his initiates unlocked.
Reconsidering his choice here.
You really don't want to go in water.
No, he's going to choose fire. Potentially dishonoring the Borderlands defender. Defends with the Borderland defender. Takes the Manicured Garden. Pass. Mountain does not fall. That's the second one right there.
Using them rather early. But then again, Crab, the longer you let a game go with Crab, the better off Crab is. So
yeah, I think it's probably better used early when you don't necessarily have the board state built up. And then once you have the board state, to get those strong defenses without spending cards, that's when you don't really need it.
Yeah.
So I think it's fine to use it early.
I would agree.
Wayfinder comes down, sees a secret cache, and that's probably where he's not going to go.
I don't know. Is it better to take the secret cache or risk the upholding authority? Well, if you're going to poke for one, I guess it doesn't matter.
And we see a Meek Informant. Defend your honor on the top there. Calling him favors? No, that can't be. He's on Unicorn.
2-0.
We did see 2 defend your honors there. Didn't get a great look at everything else, though. He could poke in on the Wayfinder here. On the military. Fingering the Earth Ring.
I think
Deciding
City
where he wants to
Allies is
go.
where you want to go with this, too.
Revealing any sort of province here is, yeah, there he goes, City Allies. And it's a pilgrimage. Same pilgrimage in the same spot, and also has a City of Lies on it, just like last game.
It's also important to note that the Hidden Moon Dojo is on best province for itself on the secret cache. Easy to defend Hidden Moon Dojo when you always can draw out of 5 cards what you need.
There's a Way of the Scorpion going on to the Wayfinder. Wayfinder has 0 glory, but he will lose an honor when he leaves play. And there's the... yeah, there's the pass. And Steve loses 1 for undefended.
I was really interested to see that he was reserved enough to buy the Shrewd Yusuke instead of the Mia Satoshi. Usually Crab, once they find a Satoshi, it's out first thing, lickety-split.
Mm-hmm. Satoshi always comes with the danger of decking out, though, and this is definitely not the matchup that you want that to happen.
Ooh, Spyglass.
Spyglass goes on to the Borderlands Defender. We don't know if Alexander is on rebuild or charge yet. Considering how much he's stacking this Borderlands Defender, I would have to guess that he's on rebuild. Challenger comes in. Military air at the Manicured Garden. Alexander's defending. And then draws a card from Spyglass. And that is the Loyal Challenger duel. 1-1. And a pass. Looks like Steve forgot to apply the Loyal Challenger effect there. He was supposed to lose an honor. No, I'm sorry. He lost the duel, so he was had a blank text box. Alexander going in for his second attack here. Borderlands Defender and the Shrewd Yusuke. Attacking Political Water, trying to break that pilgrimage. Steve defends. He's got 4. So we have 7-4 right now. Flips the Hidden Moon Dojo, repeals Imperial Palace. Steve's going to have a tough choice at the end of this
Chooses
round.
The reprieve there, puts rebuild under.
Mm-hmm. That's on the Shrewd Yusuke trigger.
There's a fight on. He already has a rebuild. And it looked like 2 reprieves. Couldn't quite make it. He flipped back so fast.
And there's just the passes. He will take the ring, get the Keeper Initiates, but won't get the effect. He could stand the Wayfinder with it technically as well, although that is not relevant at the current moment. You're going to pass through. Alexander goes into the turn with a Shrewd Yusuke, Keeper Initiate, and Borderlands Defender, and 10 Fate. Steve Palumbo going in with a pile of Fate. Looks like 15 Fate. And a Loyal Challenger and a Byushi Lyre. Discards the Imperial Palace and the City of Lies. And here come the flips. On Alexander's side, we have an Iron Mine, a Tenkinja, a Caillou Envoy, and another Keeper Initiate. And on Steve's side, we see a Storehouse, a Sep and True Speaker, and a Keeper Initiate. He buys the Sep and True Seeker. We see the Tenkinja come out. And going into the draw phase. 1-1. I believe that was a Peasant's Advice. Cracks the Storehouse to draw a card. Going into pre-conflict now. And Alexander going for conflict. Both players pass pre. Going to have the Shrewd Yasuki, the Keeper Initiate, and the Caillou Envoy going in. It's tempting to go Void for the Fate, but there's no defending characters that have any fate on them.
Yeah, and it's also important to note that, as we remember too, Display of Power is being used by the opponent. That could be really brutal turn back.
Going for the Earth Ring. Going at Pilgrimage. With 3 strength currently. Steve deciding who he wants to defend with. Alexander is only attacking with 3 strength currently. Flips the Hidden Moon Dojo, finds a favored niece. Looks like no defenders on this. Alexander's gonna need to play some cards if he wants to get a break. He could just take the ring though. He's gonna do Shrewd Yasuki, sees a fan and a Finger of Jade, takes the Finger of Jade. This extra card draw from the Crab.
3 defends now, I think.
This extra card draw from Crab is really doing work with the 1 bids, being able to draw 1 or 2, maybe even 3 extra cards every turn. That Spyglass has triggered 4 times already. Bonsai comes out onto the Shrewd Yasuki and the Caillou Envoy. And we do see a Peasant's Advice hitting the Iron Mine. There comes a Defend Your Honor. There is no defenders, so he can't defend Your Honor. And there's Defend the Wall. And the Iron Mine goes away. Looks like Steve's setting up for assassination play here.
Well, it was good that he bonsai'd on the character that were an assassination to occur. He gets value from the character going away immediately.
I believe he even split the bonsai too.
Yes, he did. I think 2 went to the Initiate and 2 went to the Envoy. And I would say that if you were to try to subprevent that by doing Initiate, that's a real bad play because water still is yet to be claimed, and he could claim that and then get both Initiates back. So if you're going to do it, you got to really think about your triggers. So right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 from the bonsai. So we're 7 into 6. Or no, he got rid of the hidden city, so it's 5s.
Into 5, yep. Deciding what he wants to play. Alexander is currently breaking. Could play that fawning diplomat into the conflict if he wants to. Wouldn't prevent the break right now, though. There is the assassinate, hitting the shrewd Yasuki. I believe he did bonsai onto the shrewd Yasuki, not the keeper initiate. And that brings him down to 3 strength.
Even if no, because it would be 6, so it would still be.
Yeah.
So you're right. Another spyglass.
Another spyglass.
Is that double spyglass watch commander? Why I think it is the crab specialty.
If he has the 3rd mountain does not fall, draws 4 extra cards this turn. And there's a Finger of Jade. Steve passes conflict, going in for Alexander's 2nd conflict here.
He has to have the fight on then if he's willing to drop this unit.
I mean, Steve only has 1 conflict left. There's not a whole lot you can do with the 1 conflict, and if Alexander breaks this pilgrimage here, that's a pretty big deal. He draws a talisman off of the spyglass. Steve defends with the Loyal Challenger and the Liar. That's a total of 6. 6 to 6. Loyal Challenger triggers its duel. 1 to 1. Loyal Challenger is now blank. Could still play the fawning diplomat. 7 strength, so he is in fact winning. No, he was already winning, but gets the fire ring. No trigger.
I mean, we knew we were going to be in for a slog when you have a Dishonor deck and a Crab deck fight off.
2 very slow decks. They're going to work for what they need.
If I am not mistaken, though, Palumbo is down to 3 honor.
He is. That assassinate stripped off 3 honor from him, and he's now pretty low. Couldn't really play any cards into that conflict. If Alexander had maybe a fan or 2, he could have taken that break, maybe. Oh, there is the Fawning Diplomat next to the Hidden Moon Dojo, though. Speaking of which, Steve buys it, 0 fate. Makes sense. He's going to want to claim the favor at the end of the round. And that gives him 5 strength political for an attack.
Do we remember if Palumbo was on censure at all? Considering he does not have the 4 edicts with running Fate Worse Than Death?
I don't believe we saw one in the last game. I know a lot of people are putting 1 or 2 in just for the safety. Uses the Fawning Diplomat to claim the favor, flips it around to figure out what he wants.
Goes down to 2 honor. Also to be noted, though he can start using the Stronghold to gain an honor to try to offset where he is.
He could do that.
More money than he knows what to do with.
You gotta think he maybe
I think
hasn't
we're
seen
on
a
a one bid
Kachiko.
too. Like, I don't see how you could not be on one bid from here
No,
forward.
of course not. He's down to 2 honor. Unless he has duty in hand. Duty, you could bid 5, draw up, and gain an honor.
Oh, sexy gold bordered Worlds Casada there.
There is Hida Casada from Worlds. Also a Mentis Tenkinja again, and the Imperial Palace and a Vanguard Warrior. Vanguard Warrior is probably going to be bought to go on to the Borderlands Defender. On Steve's side, he buys an Alibi Artist. He's also got a Blackmail Artist and a Mia Mystic. Puts 2 Fade onto the Alibi Artist using the Koku. Those are the Koku tokens that you can use at the prize wall here at the Atlanta Kotei. Hida Casada comes out, 3 Fate. Mia Mystic.
It's also important to note that we have an Imperial Palace on the Manicured Garden of all things. It's making it a very farmable location now.
Although I think Steve might actually be okay with that. Manicured is a farmable province that that extra strength just lets him stay there longer.
Yeah, I agree. And it should also be noted that there is still a Mantis Tenkinja in play. It's just kind of hiding over there in its own little world. That does give some economy, and a Shugenja for Cloud the Mind. And here I thought that the Crab player was supposed to be Crab and not Scorpion with such a sneaky trick.
Doesn't look like he had one in hand, but that is relevant. Alibi Artist triggering. Going to bids. Probably 1-to-1. Unless Steve happens to have the duty. He did bid 5, has the duty. Gonna gain 1 honor and draw 5 cards, canceling his loss.
Important to note that that was the one shot of that. There is only one of those in a deck per deck building rules, so that will only get him this far. You won't expect it again, and that gives Crab that much more knowledge of what they can and can't do in this situation.
Well, why is he shuffling again?
Maybe he accidentally saw one of his cards when he was pulling 5 and decided to shuffle, to be fair. Not sure either, though.
We do have the judge sitting at the table. Going into pre-conflicts. Steve has a pile of cards in hand. I think his hand is bigger than his deck at this point. Going in for a conflict. This is a hard board state to get over. That Borderlands defender is sitting on 6 political, and of course Quesada, 7 strength base military. He's gonna go military void at the manicured garden.
That is a setup for fate worse than death if I've ever seen one.
Mm-hmm. Although Quesada is in play, he will have to trigger an ability first.
He also must have gained an honor with his stronghold because he's went from 2 to 4.
Yep. Alexander defends with the Borderlands defender, draws 2 from Spyglass. Watch Commander and Finger of Jade also on the Borderlands defender, defending with 4 military.
Do you want to know a weird thought that I have right now?
What's that?
I'm almost thinking that this is completely in Palumbo's wheelhouse, that he's purposely trying to force as many attacks as he can to trigger as many Spyglass triggers as he can to get that 5 honor loss from the reshuffle. If a 5 honor from the loss of the reshuffle happens, you're in a range of 2 with 3 backhanded compliments in deck.
If Alexander starts to get low on cards, drawing 4 cards every turn seems like not a great prospect.
Especially
Steve,
with bids of 5 that have been happening prior to this as well.
Steve was fingering his Mia Mystic. It looks like he just passes. Does bow the Borderlands defender. Alexander passes his first conflict.
It's always important to remember here at a Kotei, people are having fun. But fear not, loyal listeners, that was not the Joker, but a player just having a good time.
We are very near the X-Wing tables. Steve is going to go in, political Earth, with the blackmail artist and the alibi artist. Looking at 4 political, 5 political with the favor, 1 short of the break.
Yes, but I anticipate a fight on here as well.
You got to think that he has it. He's got a lot of cards in hand. Quesada goes into defense.
Especially with the 10 Kinja, he can lose an honor to make it free. Though I don't, with the amount of honor, with the amount of fate he has, I don't think that you want to trade honor for fate right now.
Quesada and the 10 Kinja go in for the defense. Watch Commander goes on to Quesada.
He pops the Hidden Moon Dojo to bounce off of Quesada trigger. Finger of Jade on Quesada. He then bows Mountains Anvil Castle for Palumbo.
No Mountains Anvil Castle. This is not Dragon. That was last game. He's gonna steal the Watch Commander.
Now, would he lose an honor for stealing?
No. Did he not? He did not cancel Quesada.
No, he canceled Quesada off the Hidden Moon Dojo. I think he just wanted first you dishonor, and then he plays a defend your honor. So he was waiting for the dishonor to actually happen, so he could then per the cost to defend it. Yeah.
Not great here.
Because if he plays defend first, then they can say, "Oh, I meant this guy." And
yeah.
Very advantageous to the other player.
1-1. Quesada cancels with the defend your honor. It's worth noting that I believe Steve is still winning here. There comes the Shira Nishiyama to boost by 2. Mia Mystic sacks to get rid of the Watch Commander.
I mean, he has the fight on, but I think he's kind of realizing what's going on here to a degree, holding back from triggers.
He doesn't have to trigger the Spyglass, though.
This is true.
Mm-hmm. It
He
could be that
rebuilds
Steve
a
is
favorable ground.
It could be that Steve is baiting him into playing or triggering the Spyglass, but if he starts getting low on cards, I imagine he'll just
Stop doing it.
Yeah, decide to not. Yep. Rebuild on favorable ground.
Oh, we have a for shame.
For shame, hitting the Tenkinja. So we're now at 3 strength to 5.
Oh, he's
Favorable
still
ground. He does move in the Borderlands defender and draws 2.
Bonsai Cloud the Mine, by the way. So now we have a connected cloud.
Not a lot of great targets to hit with it right now, though.
No, not really at all. I mean, the best targets are the one the own player has, so you wouldn't call your own guy. Ooh.
Talisman of the Sun.
But now we're getting spicy. I think he's feeling comfortable with that because of the second Cloud the Mine. I mean, second item capture action that has been played. Jade Tetsubo too.
Bows Talisman of the Sun. Let's see where he brings him to. If he thinks he can get over the top, he could send, sends him to Shameful Display. So he's going to dishonor the Blackmail Artist and honor the Tenkinja, wanting to gain an honor from the Tenkinja leaving play. He's on 7 honor right now, which is not low, but it's also not high.
Especially because he still has refused to stop triggering his spyglasses. And it is something that should be noted. The process of using backhanded compliment forces the draw of a card. So if he gets too low, you could use the backhanded compliments to cause some honor loss and to push the 5 as well. So you have to be very careful going forward, I think. Because he's got to be within the 10s now, if not really close to going below 10.
We're just going to see passes. And Alex claims the ring. Steve setting aside some fate, looking to play a character here.
We didn't see much of Palumbo's deck last game. I'm actually curious if he's running the one guy that every time you lose an honor, you mill 3 cards off the top of your deck. That would be cute to see right now.
That would be very spicy. Is that a collector? Oh no, that's a
the Cunning Magistrate.
Yeah, the
right?
Cunning Magistrate.
Man, he's passing through him so fast I can't really. It's assassination, 2 display powers.
There's a Mark of Shame there. Throwing the Mark of Shame onto the Tenkinja, so now Alexander will lose an honor instead of gaining one. Alexander has a response. He's going to cloud the Cunning Magistrate.
Very good considering the Tenkinja is going away, which gets rid of his Shugenja support. So use it while you got it.
And we're just going to pass through. Now Alexander takes back the favor, puts it on political. Now got blackmail artist, alibi artist, and cunning magistrate. Facing down Quesada and this Borderlands defender who was saved by that Vanguard warrior.
I think at this point, it's the first player token should be switching over to Alexander, if I'm not mistaken. I think this is a good opportunity for water. I think he's at 2 or 3 keeper initiates now.
Mm-hmm.
Just to go ahead and secure your defenders and start pushing in. But both players seem to be completely focused on dishonoring the other out.
Miya Satoshi, Kaio Shuichi, and another Borderlands defender. And then on the Scorpion side, we've got another Truth Seeker, a Keeper Initiate, and an Ignoble Enforcers. Something to be noted, Alexander had a watch commander in that last conflict. Appears like he didn't get to trigger it. Or didn't trigger it, rather.
I don't see the watch commander act.
It's on the Borderlands defender. And it moved in.
Yes, but after he moved in, he passed.
Yeah, that's probably true. Silly Alan. That was one conflict ago. I can't remember that far back.
Well,
Steve triggering the alibi artist there.
No offense to our players. They're amazing players, but sometimes a Crab versus Scorpion Dishonor match can be akin to watching paint dry.
It is a very slow match, very slow roll, a lot of subtle movements, a lot of things going on under the hood. Playing around cards that your opponent may have, that you know they have, and just trying to get that small advantage that can help push you over the top.
I wonder how many Meek Informant Steve's running, because this is about the time you want to play another one.
Mm-hmm.
The game's getting into an accelerated area that having hand knowledge would be very, very, very helpful.
Quesada coming in for an attack here. Looking to push a break. Going at the fire at Pilgrimage. 8 strength. Looking at the honor totals here. That's kind of where this game's being played. It is 5 honor to 6 right now. On Steve's side. 5 honor. Steve considering his defenders. If he could get Quesada dishonored somehow. Oh, never mind. The Cunning Magistrate is clouded. Like it's a no defenders.
I mean, unless you got a trick, that doesn't surprise me. Plus, you don't want to defend if you're planning on a fate worse than death. That way, there's no defenders for the defend your honor to hit.
He does need to find a ability to cancel Quesada's ability, or cancel Quesada's text. He does have the Hidden Moon Dojo on the board.
He also has a finger of jade he has to play around as well.
And looks like it's a pass. Would have had to eat through 2. And then there's the display of power. Takes the fire ring.
Now, no one is a stranger to a Scorpion and Crab matchup, as they have been prevalent for the last 2 seasons put together. But usually Scorpion was advantaged in this one, but in this situation it looks like the Crab has kind of had the advantage going into this and been holding on to it for dear life, being very careful not to lose that tempo he has.
That Defend Your Honor to block the Watch Commander steal. That was where the real problem was with Crab. If your Watch Commanders got stolen and you were facing down a Dishonor Scorpion, you ran out of cards, or ran out of honor tokens really quick. But that Defend Your Honor, blocking that steal in this game. Steve looking at his options, thinking about an attack here. Passing his conflict. Back to Alexander.
I would just like to remind everyone that per the rules laid out in L5R, if this match doesn't finish in the next 45 minutes, it is customary that both players must write a haiku, which will be judged by the community at large, at which point we can determine a winner. This was set back in motion at the infamous Scorpion versus Scorpion matches of last year, when they would take 3 hours to actually get a non-time limit match going.
All right, we got the Borderlands Defender coming in for an attack. Has to be political. Maybe pushing another break here. Scorpion has a decent amount of political on the board, though. 7 by my count. And he'll be coming in for 7 with the favor. And Shuichi to covert someone out.
Ooh, bold move. Let's see how this works out, Cotton.
What ring? Yeah. No information was actually revealed during that because Alexander already knew where the secret cache was. So despite Steve flipping his province a little bit early, no foul, there's no extra information. He's going to go watering at the upholding authority. Oh, he's gonna... Oh, he thought about it for a minute, but he does end up triggering the spyglass.
Man. Pride comes before the fall. He is at 6. This is very dangerous.
Although he is getting to the board state where he can just start pushing breaks. And if he can get to the Scorpion stronghold, then he can take this game rather quickly with Hida Kasada and the Borderlands Defender. And Shuichi providing covert support.
I am 90% sure he is at between 9 and 13 cards now. I think that's where we're at. That stack doesn't look bigger enough to get above 15, so looks rather low.
I mean, that's still a decent amount of cards when you're bidding 1, but he's got to start thinking about whether he wants to trigger his spyglasses. We see the Cunning Magistrate and the Alibi Artist coming for the defense. That's a 3 total. See the Reprieve go on to the Borderlands Defender. Reprieve going on to Shuichi as well. You just got to play out these cards, especially those Reprieves.
He has the Ornate Fan. I would say this is the time the Ornate Fan should go out.
I don't think Ornate Fan is a priority target here. I think Steve's probably going to be looking for fight-ons, Defend Your Honors.
One other one is the
Rebuilds.
one of Jade Tetsubo. I definitely could
Tetsubo.
see that playing that on Quesada just to have Quesada ready to go for the following turn.
I imagine he's going to want to try and get rid of rebuilds here. If there's two rebuilds, I
at
think that's
least
the
one.
choice. There is at least one.
We saw one in the flip.
All right, tilted out just a little bit more there, Steve. And he hits 2 fight-ons.
I don't know so much about fight on though.
I mean, it's 2 fight-ons versus 1 rebuild. And I think fight-on's probably the choice. Uses the water ring to stand Quesada. Gets the keeper initiates.
Yeah, that's fair because it is important to remember that he is on Fate Worse Than Death, so the counter to Fate Worse Than Death being fight on, it helps secure his restricted list choice.
Alright, we're going to see a political heir, blackmail artist, cunning magistrate. Yeah, cunning magistrate must have not been in the last conflict. Oh, Steve did not notice Quesada. Alex is fully in his right to not allow Steve to reconsider this.
Though Steve also hasn't asked for it either. It's important to
That's
note,
true.
guys. So, all we've heard so far from Steve is, okay, well, that's okay. So, no request has been made yet in that manner.
All right. He's a political heir. He uses Manicured Garden to gain a fate.
And he's going to move over and dishonor, honoring Quesada, I guess. Or no? We do not see a talisman trigger. He's not needed, so he's good with it.
Plays a court games to have Steve dishonor a character. Dishonors the cunning magistrate. We have 5 to 4. Ornate Fan goes on to Quesada.
Calling in favors number 3.
I think if he had the calling in favors, he might have already played it. He would have really liked to take that talisman.
Court games to dishonor. What are our bids at right now?
I believe we're 1-1.
So without Maze of Skill Illusion, I don't think we're going to see this.
He does have to eat through a Finger of Jade somehow if he wants to swim Quesada.
Maybe he was just hoping that the court games would do it, but when you have 0 personal glory, it's not something you really worry too much about.
I think Alexander, unless Steve plays exactly I can swim, that Finger of Jade is probably staying there. There is the Maze of Illusion. As Alexander, I think I just let this fire. What do you think?
I mean, I already called it the Maze of Skill Illusion. We already know it has the infamous history of being a feels bad card for both players. Someone's going to end up feeling bad with this card.
Yeah.
The general community.
No, he's gonna drop the Finger of Jade here.
That's what he wanted, though.
Well, but now, unless he's got another Finger of Jade, which I don't believe he does, he has no reprieves in hand. He's gonna.
But if he moves
thinking about
him,
using the talisman.
Yeah, he thought about it, but then the other guy gets an action before the shameful can kick.
There may be a Defend Your Honor in hand, though.
See, like, if you have a really good card, Defend Your Honor works too, because then he'll just bid 2, still lose an honor, but then he has set up I Can Swim. So I don't know what he's trying here, but there's a lot of interesting elements.
No, they're just now realizing that they missed the Heat of Quesada. It is a mandatory trigger. Okay, so the Maze of Illusion, they just go ahead and cancel out the court games because that would have been canceled by Quesada. And we are staying with the Maze of Illusion play here.
Yeah, because he could still have another way to dishonor it. So I think
Well, and
skill
if
is still
looks like he's gonna let him take that back. Maze of Illusion would dishonor him though. There we go. There's the maze. Finger of Jade to cancel the maze. If he's got another maze, he could try for it. Or he could just go Fate Worse Than Death now.
he asked for a cane count, then realized the stack and said, "Don't worry about it."
Yep. I don't think you can't Fate Worse Than Death. He knows that Alexander has a Defend Your Honor. There's just really no events that he could do here. Move over to Shameful. Steve reveals a liar.
That's actually relevant right now.
That's pretty relevant. 3 strength political could push him over the top.
But, I kind of think you encourage it, because if you Shameful display on him and he pulls out the liar, that's 3 guys you've dishonored. There might be a way to get really good value out of that.
He plays Bayushi liar. No Fate.
I'm really pro right now, Jay Tetsubo, taking the Fate off of the Cunning Magistrate so that he goes down 1 more honor this turn. Especially when you got the Shameful display you have to trigger. So that's 2 honor loss, which would be 1.
Yeah. And then he could push for the air ring next turn.
Well, it looks like he's on the button, so Palumbo will have the first attack, but it would have to be air. Like, you can't not attack air unless you're hoping you can get a display of power through on the return air play. But you would still lose because you'd have no defenders. You would lose the 1 under there. So, yeah, he literally has to attack air if he brings him down to 1 next turn. And attacking into this board state is not something I think he can pull off.
Although I believe display of power actually triggers before you lose the undefended honor, because it is a reaction to losing the conflict with no defended characters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But still not optimal because you still be at 2. And his duty is gone, which is more than something that this crab player is well aware of at this point.
Honoring the Quesada with the Shameful display, dishonoring the blackmail artist. Steal 1 with the artist and the manipulator. Steve goes up to 5 honor now.
Wait, 1 honor.
Yeah, Alexander's down. That was a big conflict.
Oh no,
yeah,
he's not 1. Okay.
Yeah, he's
like,
down to 4
how did
now.
we get there?
Steve is now kind of out of the doghouse. He's back up on honor, up to 5. That's a big win with the blackmail artist. I hope he remembers. There he goes, bows out his guys. That was the last conflict, though. They're into post-conflicts now. Going to the next round. Wash on the favor. And Alexander maintains it but cannot flip it. Steve goes down.
He's Two Dishonor guys still had a fate on them, so
Nah.
that won't affect yet.
Looking at the flushes here on Alexander's side. He'll probably choose to keep the Borderlands defender. I can't imagine he'll want to play Satoshi here, though, unless he just wants the 4-strength political body. Yep. They're keeping, everyone's keeping.
Another Casada.
There's another Casada. Versus Favored Niece, a Loyal Challenger, and a City of Lies. Steve becomes first player. Put some fate on the rings. Still anybody's game at this point, although Crab is creeping up on board state. He could just take a break here with Casada and then go at Stronghold. It's going to be difficult for Steve to get past those bodies.
Is that a censure we see there? So that is definitely a censure we see discarded.
Discarding the censure with the Favored Niece. It's a dead card right now without the Imperial Favor.
We're at 2 breaks. He's within Stronghold reach on this turn. And this is a ridiculous board state.
This seems pretty standard Crab as far as board states go. Big characters that have been there since the beginning of the game. And Borderlands Defender comes out with 2 fate. 1-1. I imagine there's a decent amount of cards still left in Alexander's deck, otherwise Steve would be asking for a deck count. Steve deciding where he wants to go.
Triggers Favored Niece one more time.
Sitting on a whole bundle of cards. There's a lot of factors going on here. Both players have a lot of cards in hand and a lot of bodies on the board. One mistake could blow out the game for either one of these guys. Players are playing theoretical L5R now, just talking about the lines of play that they could be going down. see a Wayfinder. It's going to look at that last province. It is a Midnight Rebels. Definitely doesn't want to go at that. Bowing Casada seems like not a good choice.
So is that in the timing window of the Casada trigger?
It's a reaction. Casada
So
does not
it doesn't
cancel
cancel
reactions.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Looking at his conflict here. Steve obviously passed his own conflict. Thinking about the fire ring. If he can dishonor one more character and maybe push something else. It's gonna go in water. Political with the Borderlands defender, still has a watch commander on him. Shuichi's coming in as well. Looks like Satoshi. That's a whole bundle of political. And all of the weenies too. Oh no, looks like he's not going in with the Borderlands defender. Three, 7, 8, 9, 10.
So going in with the front row from what I'm gathering.
10 political. 11 political with the favor. Did he choose to go at the Rebels? I guess that's why he chooses the water ring to stand Quesada back up. Steve does have display of power, though.
That is true as well.
He could bow out that Borderlands defender. And then he's got a pretty good shot at... Yeah, there you go. You need to play the Borderlands defender in there. So, looks like 10 strength coming in. Political water at the Midnight Rebels.
Still triggering the spyglass.
Let's see, looking to count his deck. Between 7 and 9 cards, it looks like. Certainly enough that he's not in danger of getting backhanded out here. Oh. Steve, looks like, did he forget to activate Rebels and then played used City of Lies? It got canceled by Quesada.
Wow. That is probably going to be it there. Not that the water ring didn't answer that, but at the same time, that's right.
Flips the Hidden Moon Dojo. Looks like Steve has 5 cards left in his deck.
That's actually somewhat impressive considering the amount of spyglass triggers that he was still behind.
Favored Niece does dig pretty deep.
That's true.
And he had that 5 bid with Duty.
So you're the only undefeated. So going into this round.
So we have Scorpion Hatamoto with us here to give the unique Scorpion perspective on this match of slow and slower.
I guess I can do that.
So everyone say hello to Matt Fry, 1T.
All right, hey guys. I wasn't prepared to give commentary, so this will be fun. As far as stuff for the Scorpion Crab matchup, I would say I haven't been paying attention because I've been playing my own games. I would say this doesn't look good for Scorpion currently. At a quick glance, let's see. Is he on? It's hard to tell. Is that City or I think it's City?
It is City. Yeah.
Okay. So that helps him a lot. One of the things about the Crab Scorpion match that at least I've experienced is it's usually a pretty quick, just like, it's not that dissimilar from Scorpion in that there's like a quick dive to whoever gets to 0 first. But the Crab plays a tad bit lower on honor, but his board is infinitely better, and his he's broken 3 provinces to none. So
Yeah. Catching up. That was a break on the Midnight Revels there.
So, yeah, I would say my quick prediction off of just looking at the board currently is the Crab is going to win. But if the Scorpion can get 1 more honor loss, that might be enough if he's got the triple backhanded.
He does. I believe he has Abandoning Honor under the Stronghold. So there could be a triple backhanded into... He needs 1 more honor loss.
Well, that would do it because Abandoning Honor would break and it would kill a dishonored character. So he just needs to get a dishonorable character on the Crab side, and then triple backhanded would be a way. But that is currently the only out I can see for the Scorpion player at this point. It's definitely not looking great for him.
All right. Steve is coming in here for an attack. Looking at his options. Looks like he's going the Fire Ring, looking to try and get that dishonored character. Oh, no. Goes Void.
Void is very weird because the only character with 1 fate on it already has a reprieve, so unless he's got a calling in favors.
He could have All or Nothing. He is running that.
Okay, he's running All or Nothing? Okay. Then he's probably going for the Void just because Void is not a high priority, so he's hoping that he might be able to get him with an All or Nothing here. That would be my guess. Is that he does have an All or Nothing, and he would want to activate it with probably just air, because his honor is pretty low too, and he's got 2 dishonored characters that'll be leaving this turn. So
looks like we have a defense with the Weenies, the 2 Keeper Initiates, and the Wayfinder.
Yeah, that's a problem that he's going to have. It's just like Crab right now has the ability to just like, I can totally win this defense because there isn't, I don't need these guys to attack your stronghold with, and they're totally going to be enough to stop you from getting this ring.
Way of the Scorpion onto the Keeper Initiate. That brings the Keeper Initiate down to 0.
Yeah, but why did they move the favor? Is it just
because it's a military attack? They had it on political favor.
Okay. He still has the favor, though, which is relevant. Yeah. It may not be relevant for the skill, but...
Talisman moves over to Shameful. He's going to re-honor that Keeper Initiate, dishonor the favorable knees. Yeah. Oh, and they forgot about Casada again for that Way of the Scorpion.
I mean, he's got a water ring, right?
Actually, Alexander should have that water ring. That was from the Midnight Revels attack.
Oh, okay.
I think Steve might just be a little tilted at this point. He did forget to do the Midnight Revels, and they haven't passed the ring back over.
Yeah. I can understand him being frustrated here. It's definitely... Crab is one of those matchups where one of the problems can just be like, oh, I just don't have, the stuff I need to stop you from keeping these guys in play forever, and then they just get that advantage that way. But
we do see a Fate Worse Than Death come down, dishonoring that Keeper Initiate. That could be what he needs to bring this match to a close when Alexander goes at the stronghold. Another fate worse than death.
Wow. All right, so he might actually get this Void Ring, and if he's got an all or nothing, plus that gives 2 dishonorable characters for the crab player. So unless he can get an Iron Mines like a rebuild, he's going to have a problem with a potential of like a bunch of backhandeds plus the abandoning honor.
There's a bonsai comes down on the Wayfinder. We're not sure how many backhandeds Steve has. He does only have 5 cards left in deck.
Oh, he's got to have at least 2, I would imagine. Unfortunately for Steve, I don't think it's going to make it to the fate phase. So
there goes an assassinate.
Oh, the assassinate. That seems super risky.
And there goes a defend your honor. So we got 5-2 here on the defend your honor.
No, it's 3-2. He didn't do the double.
Oh, he
bonsai.
didn't do the double bonsai. Yeah.
So this is actually a pretty huge defend your honor. Oh, he contingency planned. Man, this deck is interesting. I can't say I've seen the contingency plan in a long time.
Contingency plan going down to reduce his bid.
Yeah,
and there's another defend your honor.
Defend your honor. So I can almost guarantee that Steve's got the triple, the triple backhanded, because the only reason to play the contingency plan there is to try and get him to 3.
He is now down on honor. Could trigger stronghold. Has he not triggered the stronghold?
No,
yet?
he just tried to bow it, but he realized that it's still Alex's turn to make a move. This is definitely looking scary for Alex. I think I guess it's possible that Steve only has 2 backhanded compliments, so that's why he was looking to do the assassinate.
Yeah.
All right.
Goes down.
So
he's at 3 honor now.
So here it is. If Steve's got the triple backhanded, this is where it happens.
And there goes 1. There goes 2. Steve's not even looking, or Alexander's not even looking at his cards. He doesn't have anything, and Steve is gonna take the win. Staring down one of the scariest crab boards you ever could look at, and with 3 backhand compliments, caps out this Atlanta Kotei. Handshakes, great game, played by everybody. Guys, we're gonna go on a quick break here. We're gonna see if we can get an interview set up with Steve. Stick around, and great game played by everybody.
definitely beat me before.
Yeah.
Like,
It was definitely close
so
there.
yeah, it wasn't it was nowhere near a foregone conclusion. Going
Yeah,
into this.
yeah. I was down to 5 cards left in my combo. Oh yeah, I at some point on stream I went in and counted. I was like, okay, I can go a little farther with it. See how far I can go. What's up? Greedy grabs, exactly.
So where's my trophy?
You don't get
But I wanted to put it next to my other trophy from last season. I was trying to let them go back to Oh my god. So, in the last 15 cards, or it seems like that game, like a 50%, all three of my K worse than deaths. See, I can swim. As I'm holding this giant stack of cards, and I'm like, well, I can't play any of this conflict. Not that I have anything I want to play. And then you're like, I'm never going to attack you with a range really that you want to display. I'm like, cool, those things are in my hand too. Yeah. And then do all and nothing for the entire game. Yeah. So like, I can't win a conflict attacking you, and you're not attacking me, boy. This sucks. Water conflict. Very conflict. Yeah, water was the best. Yeah. Like Earth is almost scary because they close the right win conditions getting that stuff. Alright.
All right, guys. I have here Steve Palumbo, the new crowned champion of the Atlanta Kotei. Steve, how you feeling right now?
I feel really good.
Yeah?
I'm super tired.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
There was a lot of drinking this weekend, and the heat in here certainly didn't help.
Oh, yeah. Very, very warm. So tell us about that last game. What were you looking for at the beginning? And then bring us through like the phases of your thoughts and bring us through the whole gosh darn 50-minute, 60-minute matchup.
Yeah, it was closer to like an hour and 15.
Yeah, it
I
was
think, 'cause
close.
we hit the hour mark. Alex and I are both from Central Florida, so he's part of my local play group. This is a matchup that we've played dozens of times. I will say I'm certainly favored in the matchup. I'd say maybe 20% for him, 80-20. But he looked for exactly what he got on the first turn. He dug for Borderlands Defender because it takes Fate Worse than Death off the table as an offensive dishonor tool, which is mainly what it's there for. And then he attacked me the rings that he knew I wouldn't want to display. And then the fact that he hit Pilgrimage a couple times and didn't actually get to resolve like Earth. Like, well, I would have displayed that, but you didn't break it, so display wouldn't do anything. For my part, playing against that matchup, especially when you have the forever Borderlands Defender that's going to be in every fight, it's got the Watch Commander. I screwed up big time dealing with a Watch Commander. I continually forget about Defend Your Honor. I'll get back to that. It's just a very difficult fight for this deck because you have to wait Crab out, which is
That's very difficult.
dumb.
Yeah, not the way to win against Crab sometimes.
But yeah, it's like most of the times I can't attack into him because all I'm doing is giving him cards, and then I have to try to weather his attacks long enough and just bleed him down with little incidental honor losses, the box dishonoring little spuds, stuff that's going to go away, and just until we can get into kill range.
Sure.
Because that game went on as long as it did, because I got to draw 5 off of duty, because I saw 2 or 3 of the Seven Truth Seekers, I think all of the Liars did the Nice. I went through 35, I think, of the 40 cards in my deck.
5 cards left.
So I had the kill shot if I could get him down to
get that
in
one
the
last
range.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. So going back to where I really screwed up against the Watch Commander, I forget about Defend Your Honor because most of the time we're not doing opposed conflicts. I don't party in opposed conflicts, and then half the time I am doing any kind of conflict. Period. My guys are all dash military.
Right.
So I forget Defend Your Honor exists until it gets played on me. Even if, like in this game, I've seen it in his hand with me conforming. I saw, oh look, you have all 3 Defend Your Honors. I believe if you watch the stream, you can hear me remark on this. And then you can watch the rest of the stream and watch me completely forget the card exists.
All right. Well, so you're playing a little bit of an interesting Scorpion deck. City of the Open Hand, Dishonor.
Yeah.
What do you think the state of Scorpion is right now as a whole, and how it matched up against the field here at Atlanta?
I think Scorpion's actually still in a really good spot. The nerf to the box wasn't near as bad as the doom and gloom when it was first said. The 2 main things that Scorpion's really doing right now, you've got your KB, like your actual offensive KB, not your Armitage KB. Right. Not that I think anyone got to see that today, because he wasn't on the stream. And then you've got your Dishonor deck. For the most part, it seems like people have gotten away from Seeker of Air, City of the Open Hand, because, I mean, Backhanded Compliment's just that good. Yeah. And especially when you combine it with Mark of Shame. I've been working on this particular deck. Like, you talk to Scorpion chat, and this is Palumbo's deck. This is Palumbo's deck. The almost sort of defensive Dishonor, but it's kind of like the lose to win Dishonor. Phoenix Splash, use the displays. All in Nothing is the other half of my splash. Right. I only switched that recently. I had actually tried it out before, but decided I still needed the Seeker of Knowledge because I needed the Courtier keyword. I needed the Shugenja keyword. Having those out of the hand, super good. But now that I can't fit in Clouds anymore, and I'm not using Forged Edicts, and I'm down to 2 for Shames, none of those keywords really matter to me. So when the All or Nothing, generally you go Earth, you're like, or you go Void.
Look, this isn't the relevant ring right now. Okay, I switch it.
Yeah, the ideal situation is you attack Earth, get Earth, or DOP Earth. So you draw 1, they discard 1. Then you attack again, Void, make it Earth. I know there's no camera here, but I'm Italian, so you get all the hand movements. So you get the cantrip off of All and Nothing, and then you make them discard again, and you draw a card. It's just such value. I don't understand why Phoenix don't run it. It's an amazing card. Yeah. But yeah, I've been working on this particular deck, I was about to say, since Gen Con last year.
Oh, yeah?
When I got the top 8. I was still on the Phoenix Splash. Obviously, we weren't Keeper yet.
Right.
So I did what I could. I got knocked out by Travis. He put me down hard. Tadaka locked us. Boom. Goodbye.
I hear Tadaka's a real good card.
It's pretty good. Pretty good.
Some people say that.
Especially when on first turn you hit Abandoning Honor, because it's a new card, you forget about it. You poke with Bayushi Liar. You're like, poking with 3 isn't a big deal.
Yeah.
You hit Abandoning Honor, he gets Fate Worse than Death into the discard pile. Then he buys Tadaka, and I'm like, cool. I can't play anymore.
Yeah, there's no cards I can play.
Yeah.
All right, Steve, do you have any final thoughts before we shut down for the day?
No, I want to give a big shout out to Alex. He did amazing. 6-0 in the Swiss, made it all the way to the finals. Just incredible, good player. I want to apologize for anyone watching for all the stupid mistakes I did, like missing. I'm just going to throw away cards because I've got ways to eat Kasada triggers, but I don't care. I'm going to use Way of the Scorpion to eat it, or Court Games. These good cards. Screw that. I want to give out a shout out to Darren Hazelden because he gave me the advice on to win this game. I need to reduce his honor to 0 while keeping mine above 0 and not letting my stronghold break. So
that's some good advice.
Solid
advice.
Big thanks to Darren Hazelden. I could not have done it without following his instructions.
That's good instructions. I'm glad that you enjoyed yourself. Have a great day, Steve.
Thank you. Thank you for having me talk.
All right, so we have now here the runner-up, Alexander Diaz. Give him 1 second to get the headphones on.
Oh, does that mean I have to take off my hat?
Yeah, probably. You're going to have to take off your hat. Sorry.
It's all right. Okay.
All right, Alexander. How you?
There we go. That
Yeah.
works.
How you feeling?
Is that close
Yeah,
enough for you?
you're fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I had an amazing run. I started playing this game last year. I went to MomoCon after 2 months. So from then until now, to be able to be in the finals and make Hatamoto is absolutely amazing for me.
Yeah, that's quite the improvement. Just starting 1 year ago. All right, so tell me about your matchup with Steve. We got kind of Steve's perspective.
Yes.
Saying that you really hit the stuff you needed to find. What happened?
Absolutely. Oh man, I play Steve so much in my local meta. Like, I know his deck inside and out, and he knows mine and my play style in general. So at that point, I already know I just have to build up the wall until I can survive Fate Worse Than Deaths and just keep breaking shit. And that's what happened at the end. The one thing that really messed me up, and I didn't think it would be as big of a deal, was hitting Upholding Authority. I thought I would be fine losing my fight-ons. That was a 2 honor swing between Air Ring and Blackmail Artist, and that was really bad. That definitely put me in the red.
That was a tough one.
Yeah. Once I hit 4 honor, I know I'm in the danger zone.
Yeah,
I know I'm lethal.
If he's got those backhandeds, he's just going to cap you out.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
last one.
yeah. And I had to keep checking my conflict deck because I kept triggering Spyglass. I think I had 4 or 5 cards left in there.
Yeah, I will say, you can hear it back. We were all real worried about you when you kept triggering that Spyglass. We're like, he's got to be getting really low. So we got Steve's take on the state of Scorpion. What do you think the state of Crab is? Obviously, the deck hasn't changed a whole lot in the last couple months.
So, the state of Crab is honestly boring. I hate it. So this is the first tournament I've gone to, like even in any of my local stuff, where I played Unicorn Splash. Normally I did Dragon Splash in Seattle. I did Phoenix Splash last at Atlanta MomoCon. I'll do a lot of Line Splash stuff, and then at Worlds I ended up doing really well with Scorpion Splash and a Fate Worse Than Death.
Oh, yeah.
And that deck that I made was inspired by Steve because I got tired of him dishonoring me out. I was like, okay, well, you know what? I got backhanded compliments too, so I'll dishonor you.
Oh, that sounds so much fun. Any shout outs, Steve or Alexander?
Yeah, shout outs to my amazing better half who is standing right there. She has been incredibly patient this whole weekend with me playing. She doesn't get to see me very often because I'm crab, so all of my games basically go to time.
All right. Thanks so much, Alexander.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Have a great day and congratulations. All right, guys. Just a couple.